It's Blake with Trade Tracer. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe in the bottom right. Also, click on the descriptions for free signals. As always, none of this is financial advice. Always trade and invest at your own risk. So this week is OPEX week. If you followed us and watched the movie from last week, you guys know that last week was the week before OPEX, and oftentimes we see pivotal lows going into the week of OPEX, and that's exactly what we saw this week. We have bullish seasonality. I remain bullish long term. I think the investment side of things, you're completely fine in equities and assets. I know there's a lot of fear in the markets right now, but that's there to shake you out, in my opinion. I think we are going to head higher as the S&P just closed at all-time highs on Friday. In the monthly chart, this is a very strong uptrend, okay? And we're confirming price strength higher. The weekly time frame, we have a fresh MACD bull cross. Last week I said if we got back above some resistance, I would press long. And if we go look at the daily time frame, we closed at all-time highs on the S&P. So what I am seeing here, you can see this 354 level. I mentioned this is a very important level for the S&P. As long as we could stay above that 354, odds do favor higher prices because this is the apex of this W pattern. As long as we stay above that, we're very bullish. Now, we still have this ominous big sell the news candle when we had that vaccine. Had a nice gap up, got a nice place to scale some profits and then hold swing long. This is something that we need to get back above. Okay, so I'm not ruling this out, but we are in uptrend on the monthly. We are in uptrend on the weekly and also on the daily. So we have time frame alignment and odds are favoring higher prices. I'm not going to trade with an opinion. I'm going to trade price. I'm going to trade trend. I'm going to trade momentum. That's it. Okay, I'm not going to trade opinions and get caught up with some of the rhetoric that you can see on the news. So the S&P is leading. The investment portfolio, we are primarily focused on the S&P right now because the NASDAQ, although I think it could play catch up, is still lagging. All right, so these are your big momentum names, and you guys know I love when the NASDAQ leads because it shows me that people are putting their money to work and searching for higher returns, and those higher returns on typically those big momentum stocks like your Amazons and your Apples and your Googles. And right now, we've started to see some rotation into some other sectors like financials and biotechs. So that'll be something that we're going to keep an eye on this week to see if the NASDAQ plays catch up or if we continue to see rotation out of tech and into some of the beaten down sectors. But let's go ahead and break this down on a little bit closer time frame. So the 15-minute chart is one of my favorite charts that I like to watch. And this was kind of the breakout high above this resistance. And you can see this is anchored VWAP. And we're closing above that VWAP on Friday. Now, we still have this downtrend line to contend with. You can see the 50 and the 200 days. I believe this is the 50-day, actually. Let's see here. It's the 200. So the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute time frame is holding as support. So that's very important. So that's something to take a note of. And one thing that I want to show you is some time frame alignments here. I want to go ahead and pull up the daily 5. And this is something that I like to watch. Okay, so we have this dotted line here is the 5-day moving average pulled up here on a 15-minute chart. Okay, so as long as price is holding above this 5-day moving average, I do like this. I like this long. So you can see that we're holding above this moving average. I posted on Twitter that this is a very key important level. As long as we hold above this, I think prices do head higher. So that's what I'm looking at for the Qs. We would need to get back above this downtrend line and ideally back above we'll call it 293. So if we can get above 293 on the Qs, I think, your names like your Apples and your Amazons are going to have a lot of strength going into next week. So what names am I looking at right now? Let's take a look at a couple of that I'm watching. Go over here to, sorry, bear with me, guys. Goldman Sachs. Like I said, we're starting to see some rotation into banks, and Goldman Sachs is one of those leaders, and this is a bull flag breakout above a downtrend line. You guys know I love break of a downtrend line. And my other favorite trade setup is a bull flag breakout. And a bull flag breakout would be above this, call it 220 level. So above 220, I think Goldman Sachs could easily get back above to 225 and potentially much, much higher. This is a very bullish setup, and we'll have to see if we continue to see rotation into banks next week. But Goldman Sachs is definitely one of my favorite setups. Novavax. This is one of those names that was very hot at the beginning of the year. You can see it had this massive runoff, and now it's kind of sold off. And one of the things that I'm noticing here is some bullish divergence. So we have new lows, right? So price is declining while momentum is increasing. So you can see momentum on the MACD is increasing as price is declining. This is bullish divergence. What this means is that this is, first off, one of my favorite trade setups. When we have new lows without MACD, and you'll notice if you follow in Telegram, a lot of them, our biggest 5-minute RT day trades are setups that come from new lows without MACD. So this is exactly what's happening on Novavax. You can see that we are already breaking above this downtrend line, and price strength confirmation would be above 101.20. So those are two of my setups for next week, Novavax and obviously Goldman Sachs. Don't want to give too much away because I got to save some for everybody else out there. But some of our main winners, LRCX, huge winner for us. Apps, also huge winner for us, caught some support. Let's see, what else do we have here? TSM broke out above 91.50 on Friday. That's a very positive sign. JP Morgan, also looking at some banks. You know, this is one of those names also that could lead if we start to see some more rotation back into banks. Boeing's very, very interesting here. Okay, so we have a VWAP anchored from the high, and you can see that it's holding this level. So it's telling me that there's fewer sellers. What this means is when we break above VWAPs anchored from highs, right, and they've acted as resistance for a long time, when we get price closing and holding above one of those VWAPs, what it's telling me is that there are fewer sellers. There's less selling pressure. And not necessarily that there's more demand, but there's less selling pressure. So if there's less selling pressure, and even if demand stays the same, prices are going to float higher. Now, if there's less selling pressure and these sellers now turn to buyers, well, this could be a huge home run if we can get back above this, call it 194 level. I think we see 133, 134 in a hurry. So keep a close eye on Boeing. Again, one of those names that's been beaten up, and it's one of those names that moves on news with coronavirus going on. So just to wrap it up, S&P is leading. We are in an uptrend. I remain bullish. I am trading price. We are in a 8-day uptrend on Monday. And currently I have some long market exposure from some previous swings. And I'm waiting for price strength confirmation above this high before I go ahead and get extremely long. But I said in last week's video that if we could get above this level right here, and we did on Friday, I would go ahead and press long, and I did add some swing long market exposure on the close on Friday, expecting some higher prices this week on OPEX. If you guys like this video, make sure you go ahead and follow on Twitter as well, @TradeTracer. Also check out the website, tradetracer.io, and hit that like and subscribe. You guys take care.